Hello and welcome to the part 6 of upgrade time for upgrading this Encounter game. This episode is going to be slightly different. I'm not going to actually show the game at all. I'm going to show how to do some audio in 100% in BASIC. So, like last time, I isolated the relevant part of the Oric user manual, where you can see the table of notes, some details about how envelopes work, the user manual part about the few music related instructions, like music, play, and sound, and that's going to be useful as a reference. So, before starting, I'm going to address a few questions which I got last week. So why this game in particular? Well, Encounter is one of these games I had on the Oric back in the days in France, and unfortunately my English was not very good, and the game had a lot of vocabulary I could not even find in my English-French dictionary. Like I never heard the word frisk to basically search somebody to see if they have keys or something like that, which made playing the game very difficult because it does not use a lot of synonyms. So if you don't know exactly the right word, you're getting nowhere. And back in the days already, I had tried to make a graphic version of it, except it was on tape, and I was using draw line, curset, curmov to draw lines. I've been very far. At least I drew 2 scenes. Yeah, it took way too long. So yeah, that was the reason why this game in particular. I knew it has some decent content. It was an interesting story, very compact, so it's a good candidate. Will the game run on the Oric 1, ROM 1.0, private, etc., or only for the Oric Atmos? Right now, I'm concentrating on the Oric Atmos. It's in BASIC, which means that there are a few differences on bug fix which have been done in the ROM, but they are really minor. It's things like column position change from 0 to 1 by default, or some weird bugs in if then else statements. It can be addressed later, so it's really not a problem. If it was an assembler project using the ROM calls to call functions directly, the addresses are different places on the various ROMs. That would be a bit messy, but for BASIC, I don't think it's a problem. Which brings the question of why doing the project in BASIC? Am I a masochist? Question from ex-colleague from Funcom. No, I'm not masochist. He used to do BASIC on Commodore 64, and the Commodore 64 has a very powerful kernel that you can use from BASIC or assembler, but in terms of pure BASIC language, it's very minimalistic, which is why most BASIC games on Commodore 64 are full of pick and poke. You need pokes to program sprite. There is no dedicated sprite instruction. So on the Oric, on the other hand, you can draw lines, circles, change colors, play music, sound, all in BASIC. No poke involved. So it's not that bad. So it's still a BASIC with line numbers, which is a major pain. But you have all the standard on, go to, go sub, return. You even have pop if you want to skip some return statement. You have repeat until, which is very practical. And it's one of the basic with if then else. Some don't have else, which is a problem. So it's really not all that bad. But the main reason is I've been hearing for years people in the Oric community who said, I really wish I could do a game or a demo or whatever, but I only know BASIC and there's no way I'm going to be able to do something as good as what all you guys, Twilight, Shema, myself, have been doing, because you're doing that in C and assembler. Blah, blah, blah. So I'm just sticking to BASIC to show that you can do something decent without any use of assembly code, subroutine made in other language. So hopefully I'm not going to be proven wrong, but yeah, so far so good. And for the special funks, so last week I was suggesting that maybe I should do some sounds, and I jokingly asked, I wonder if it's possible to do a dog sound using basic commands. And Simon, Ibisum, and Pisser took over the challenge. Simon did the first core of the sound, and Ibisum and Pisser did some small modification. So here is the program. So it's a terrible, horrible program. I'm going to clean it up before I submit it. But basically, the main problem in all the manual examples is that they rely on the wait instruction. So this sound example, iterate from 1 to 3, play something, sound, wait 5, which is a number of hundreds of seconds, wait 20, next. Which means that while the sound effect is playing, you can't do anything else, which is a major problem if you want to do a game. So if you were doing that in assembler, this thing will be running in interrupt, and it will play on the side, not blocking the main game. But in BASIC, you are pretty much stuck with the interpreter. So you need to be very creative, and you need to do code that can be called multiple times in a loop to play things without stopping. So if you remember in one of the previous episodes, I replaced the input function by a loop based on get. This is the equivalent. Instead of using get, it uses key, which is non-blocking, and return an empty string if nothing happened. So what I'm doing is that I display some text. I check if there is a key input. If it's not space, then I consider it's a new command. And based on the command, I'm going to play a particular effect. Some are blocking, like the standard Oric instruction, zap, shoot, ping, explode. These two ones are the keyboard click. There is no actual basic command. So these two ones will not run on Oric one, which was just for the soundboard for testing. And these ones are pseudo non-blocking. So the dog barking from Simon is at line 11,000. And it does stuff and then it waits. And then it returns. And this does only one bark. And depending of how often you call it, it's going to do the waf 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 with the wait various delay. So how it sounds? Well, don't expect the incredible, but so it's a simple program. So as I said, we have this here. Maybe I could, yes, let's do that this way. So when I press Z, zap, ping, shoot, explode. This is small k, big K. Can you hear the difference? So these two key clicks are basically the difference between the black keys and the red keys on the Oric Atmos. The standard keys are doing the light click, and the red ones are doing the clock. So it's pretty nice when you're typing basic click, 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 and when you press return, clock. So you know that you did not misclick. So the other ones are actual example from the user manual, and some are from my users. So let's listen to the dog. So you have to imagine that there is the picture of the dog, and you hear that in the background. And I can interrupt it at any time. So I press space to stop it. I can start it again. and I can shoot it, and it stops. There are some other sound effects from the Oric user manual, like supposed to be waves. You're on the ocean, and the waves are on breaking on the sand. So that's just some examples that are using the sound generator. So 9400, compute a random value between 1 and 20, and use that as a delay. But the rest is just doing an evolution of the parameter of the sound instruction. So the sound instruction, oops, not scroll. The second parameter is the pitch. So what this does is to scroll the pitch from 0 to 31. Wait a bit and play another one. Then we have things like the jackhammer. So I'm starting it and stopping it manually. Then there is somebody running in the snow. Or trying to. And then there is some famous music. And it's missing some weights. So that one is this simple routine, which has a list of notes 3, 5, 6, 8, so which matches to this. And 3, 5, 6, 8, 10, 6, 10, 10, I guess 9 here. And so it fetches each value and wait always the same amount of time, which is why it sounds a bit weird. And there is a final value, which is 11 here, which I'm not sure why they choose 11, because it's a valid value. Actually, they played it, it's the only one. Then restore, which start again the value, which is why the music is looping. The jackhammer itself was just basically, so this one, play 7000, just make sure that every other channel is shut off, and yeah, play. So 7, select every single channel and force them to 000. Then select the tone channel 1 and the sound channel 1 as well. Selecting an envelope number 3, which is that one, which is a repeating envelope, and with a duration of 180, which is why we get and this select sound 4, noise channel 4, with a pitch of 1000, and volume 0 means use the envelope. So if I quit, and then I list, let's say 520, and instead of 180 I put this, run. It is a very slow jackhammer, but it's the same code. And if I put a much smaller value, then it starts to sound like some electric. So by using something like that with a varying envelope duration based on a random in a timer, timing delay, you kind of think like some electric arc from a transformer box. So there you are. It's all I have for today. Actually, did 2 small change. Yeah, I made a first draft of the kitchen. I don't really like it, but with the entrance from the sound lounge and the stairs down to the cellar, and there were another one. Which one was it? Yes, on the library. Same thing. First draft with the entrance from the narrow passage behind the staircase. So yeah, that's about it for today. I hope the sound was okay. I tried to record from desktop audio. That did not work. Or actually that worked, but I was not able to hear the sound anymore for some weird thing, which is a problem when you try to do a demonstration. And what I'm thinking about it, what would be nice if like 10 of you could, actually 13 of you could subscribe to the channel, because then I will have 100 subscribers, which does not really matter other than the fact that it will allow me to have a dedicated YouTube URL instead of the current random generic one. That will make it easier to link videos next time. So there you go. So have a nice day. Bye bye.